Hey, Mr. Harkins, I think I may know what's wrong with your pump. I took a closer look at it, and I believe the issue is you see how you see how closely this plate fastens to the housing, how parallel those two plates are, those two lines are. But right here, there's a big gap between the housing and the end plate, and they filled that gap with silicone. Well, if you have a gap right here, see if I can sketch this as we go. If you have a gap there, well, then there's space between the plate and the end of the impeller, and this is your suction side of the pump, and this is your pressure side of the pump. So since you have this gap here, water can flow from the pressure side of the pump, because it's under pressure, or trying to be, to the negative pressure side of the pump, which is the inlet of the pump. And it just passes over the top, of the impeller instead of going where it should. Let me draw it here let me sketch it here as to what I think's going on. Now, I'm not positive because I haven't got it apart yet, but these pumps are very sensitive to the gap between the impeller and the end plates. You have an end plate inside here in the housing. It's not a separate plate, but you have a surface on the inside, and then you have a surface here. So let's say this is your pump housing right here, and let's say that's the face of your impeller, and let's say that that's the high pressure side, and this is the low pressure side, and and let's say your plate is let's see, well, we'll just draw it this way. Let's say that there's a gap right here, then the water will just flow, and this is your impeller, the water will just flow right over the top of the vanes and go into the low pressure side instead of water being forced out of the pump. And that's what I believe is going on. I'll know once I've taken this off. But the other thing is, someone's used yuckumpucky. They've used, former gasket, which is not a problem right here on this side, really. But gaskets are cheap and simple. But on this side, the gaskets are very important that they be a certain thickness. They're actually more of a shim than they are of a gasket, in order to give you the proper distance from this end plate to your rubber, the proper amount of distance, the proper amount of friction, the proper amount of sealing. And just because this lid is screwed up like it is, I can guarantee you that that's not correct. So I'll be taking it apart. I'll give you an update once I take it apart. But that's why your pump, I'm 99.999% sure that's why your pump wasn't pumping water, and why your engine overheated and did multiple $1,000s worth of damage to your engine.